Thomas Dietz, one of my all-time favorite jugglers, the 4 times World Juggling Federation champion who was doing impressive routines and long endurances, seemed unbeatable at his peak in 2008. But how would he compare to the jugglers of today? Last year, in 2021, was the first year that competitors could compete in a close to similar routine system that they had back in 2008, before the WGF changed the rules to only allow 5 object routines. But now it's finally possible to compare again. So I've wrote down every single trick that Thomas Dietz did in his routines back in 2008 and put them into today's Excel form to get a start value. And then I checked for drops and also foot movements. So, if Thomas did the exact same thing in 2021 as he did in 2008, these are close to the results that he would have gotten. And for reference, these are the scores that he actually got in 2008. But from these scores alone, you can't really extract any useful information before I show you everyone else's score from 2021. But at least you can see that there's a big point difference from what he got in 2008 compared to what he would have gotten today or in 2021. So why this big point difference? The similarities of 2021 and 2008 were that you could juggle as many objects as you wanted instead of just 5. But both 2021 and 2008 had its advantages and disadvantages in terms of points. So in 2008, the tricks gave more points than in 2021, and it seems that the deductions took away less points. You could also do 4 clubs if you wanted to, and you could do the same move twice if it was a part of a different connection. But at the same time, the routines were a maximum of 3 minutes or 30 moves. While in 2021 the routines were up to 5 minutes with no move limit. But the moves gave less points. It seemed that the deductions were more harsh, there were no 3 and 4 club moves in the database, which would make it a gamble to do them since you wouldn't know its point value, and you weren't allowed to do the same trick twice. And all of this would make it hard to actually get enough tricks to fill out the 5 minutes. So when I compared Thomas's routines up against today's standards, I allowed him to do the same move twice, even though it wouldn't be allowed today. But given the fact that he only had 3 instead of 5 minutes, I think it's a quite fair comparison. So with that out of the way, how did he actually compare against me, Jonah, Jack or Spencer from 2021? Here's Thomas's scores for his routines, and here are ours. As you can see, he gets beaten by quite a bit. He would have come in 4th place for balls, 4th place for rings, and also 4th place for clubs, considering that Vovogolchenko also attended WGF in 2008. This goes to show that all of the years since 2008, jugglers have developed a higher capability of consistently doing more difficult moves. But how would he compare in endurance? Vovogolchenko and John Brady would dominate the 7 club endurance by a mile, granting 3 and 2 points, and for Spencer, 1 point. For rings, the list would stay exactly the same, with me on top with 3 points, Jonah in second with 2 points, and Spencer with 1 point. And for balls, we would have Spencer on top with 3 points, followed by Thomas with 2 points and a surprising Chris Fowler with 1 point. In 2021 we also had a flashing competition, which they didn't have in 2008. But I wrote down what I would expect to see. I was the only one flashing 10 rings, and I don't think Thomas Rova would be able to back in 2008, granting me 3 points. Spencer was the only one flashing 8 clubs, and I don't think Rova or Thomas would be able to do it in competition, since they've never flashed it on video. But maybe Toby Walker. So 3 points to Spencer and Toby. Both me and Spencer flashed 10 balls, and it would be very likely that Thomas also did so, granting all of us 3 points. In total, the endurance and flash competitions would have given us this much points: 11 to Spencer, 9 for me, 5 to Thomas, 3 for Vova and Toby, 2 for John and Jonah, and 1 point for Chris Fowler. By looking at these numbers, one can see that today's jugglers come out on top here as well, even though those from 2008 beat many of us in their 9-ball juggling as well as their insane 7-club juggling. The last major category is freestyle for 5 to 7 balls, clubs and rings. I chose to leave it out due to the subjectiveness of it, but by running a quick analysis, I'm sure that Spencer and Rolly would have come out on top of it, and I think that Thomas would beat me by a bit and that I would beat Vova by a bit. So without freestyle, this is what the results would be for WGF 2021 together with all of the jugglers from 2008. So the top 3 would be Spencer with 30 points, closely followed by me with 29.12 points, and in third, Thomas Dietz with 18.04 points. And you also have to add the freestyle points to get the actual score. I would conclude with that today's jugglers would beat the jugglers from 2008. But remember that we had 13 more years to prepare to a competition that at the time in 2008 was only 5 years old. So even though we have come a longer way in this competition format, it doesn't mean that we're better jugglers in general. Just a bit better at this. Now that WGF 17 is coming up, I hope that you found this comparison interesting. If so, please consider liking this video and also subscribe to the channel. And if you loved it, you can also join my Patreon to support me making videos like this. That's it, and see you a lot in the next year.